Hey everyone, Lauren here, and I am using the printables in a fun, different way this month. So, I am going to get creating with the flowers and making some cluster on this page. So, first up, I pull out, when I printed them, I printed the Project Life cards in a full size. So, I've got an A4 sheet here, which is basically 8.5 by 11. And well, very close anyway. And I've then used the design of this Project Life card and I'm going to add part of a wreath to it, and I really love the way it ends up. So you can see here I've got my little crystal dish here of flowers and leaves, and I've got labels in the third one, and then I've got a little dish of words that I'm just collating things that I think go well with this photo and things that I could use on this layout. The photo is just a selfie of myself at the beach. Me and the boys went down and we're having a fun afternoon at the beach, and we're at the Gold Coast, so not every day that we're at that beach, and I'm just having fun and wanted to take a selfie of my windswept hair that is, totally ocean hair because it's been wet. Then it's probably got sand all through it from the wind and playing with the boys, and then it's dried and it's gone all frizzy and fun, and I love the beach and want to be there much more than I am, and so it's very nice to record those moments and scrapbook the photos. So I'm using one of the pocket page cards in the normal size, so I'm just going to place it down here and cut off the excess, and this will leave me two edges bordered with the yellow, and then I'm going to line it up and use the scrap piece to border the edges of the other side, so that way I have four edges backed in the yellow and have just used the Project Life card. So it's a little sneaky way to get the best out of cards for layering, especially if your photo is smaller than a 3x4 by a fair bit. So gluey glue so that I can get this on the layout, and then I'm going to use my wet glue as well to add the flowers and the leaves. So just making sure it's flat, but this glue is pretty amazing actually. I need to remember it when I do run out that this is the glue that I want. So just putting some heavier things onto that while I'm cutting out some of these pieces, just because it's best practice to add that there or hold it down while it's glue, while the glue sticks for the first bit of time. It doesn't take long. So I'm going to add a little cluster to the right of my photo here. I've got a little tab that I've cut out, and then a little another one, or is it, yeah, it's two tabs, so because I printed in different size. And then I'm going to add this camera, and that's going to build that cluster here. So just sticking it on. I'm not using any foam tape. I've got foam tape or foam behind the photo, so I don't need to bump up any of those things. And then I'm going to add that heart there. So now I'm going to, thought I was going to go the flowers, but no, I'm going to add a tiny word sticker. Well, or phrase, it's not really a sticker. I guess I just printed it on paper. So I'm just going to have fun. So I'm just basically following the direction of the curve on the Project Life card, and that's just going to be fun there. And I'm just thinking about the colours. So it's not a problem if the colours are all the same, but I don't want to have like sitting next to each other, but I don't want to have like four in one section and then go into a different colour. I want to have the colours kind of roundabout randomly spread out through the cluster. So just having fun with the different types of flowers that Deb has created for us. And if you do get your kit or buy the collection, you will be able to add some of those flowers, because I believe we get a packet of florals in the collection. And you can't go wrong with flowers. So we also got some of these awesome leaves, and because I use the print and cut function, all these are already pre-cut, which is why I quickly grabbed those ones rather than you guys watching me cut every single flower and leaf. But also it means that there's no like white edge on them either, because of the I didn't really muck around with the cutting edge, and so they cut tight to the flower and the leaf. But I've worked a bit on that bottom one, and I thought I needed to add some up the top to see how long I wanted to make the clusters and how long they were going to go around the curve before I stopped. So it's kind of just finding that balance and the right spot to stop, I guess. And you could definitely go all the way around the curve and have the whole thing as a floral, and I really did print enough of the flowers that I really could have done that, but that's not what I was looking for today. I love the white space, and then I really like what I did to journal to finish this page. So I've got some of these little berry type flowers that I am putting on the layout, and then that's part of the leaf designs, because there's 3 or 4, maybe even more. There's a few, there's a whole sheet just of leaves, and there's a whole sheet of flowers that Deb has created for us. So there's definitely some variety to choose from as we're sticking them down. So I'm going to just finish up on these floral clusters, and then I'm thinking about adding that fabulous, but spoiler alert, it does not stay on the layout. It's just not going to work. It's too big and straight to work for this layout, is what I felt. And I am then going to work on a little cluster to the top right of that oval shape to just balance out what was happening down the bottom left. It's becoming very heavy on the left side, and I wanted just something to draw your eye up to the right, and it will fit in nicely with the journaling. So just filling in any gaps on those clusters that I could see. Here's where I'm thinking about the word fabulous and pushing all the florals to the side. Just going to quickly cut not all, but some of these things that I want to use. So I've got an orange paint stripe, which are very fun to use and to add to clusters. A very good way to start a cluster, and then you can have that little colour popping out from underneath all the goodness in a cluster. I'm going to add this pink and orange butterfly to the top here. I did pull out all the butterflies that were in the printables. There's a blue one, a pink one, and an orange and pink one. But I decided I only want the one. I don't need to overwhelm it with butterflies. And it's just going to nestle in there and be, not super obvious. I'm going to add this one that says selfie, because obviously it is a selfie. And that's going to start that cluster up. Oh, not start because we've got the paint strip, but that's going to start bulking it out. And I'm thinking about adding some words down here, and I bring back that fabulous, but it is not right, and I get to use it on many other layouts because I printed it multiple times. So I'm just going to commit to these two here, and then I'm going to work on what else is going to round off that. So I decide I want another word, but it's going to instead go up to the top here, but then I decide to add some flowers. So I have cut this blue one so I can nestle it in under the paint strip, and that's just going to be a little pop of floral up the top, and I add another one and some leaves just to balance out what was going on. I guess if I didn't put flowers up the top, it probably would have looked a little out of place, having so much flowers down the bottom and nothing to reference that up the top. I then am just, after I finish building this floral cluster part of it, I do add a label and then some of those tiny words, because I cannot get enough of those tiny words, those black typewriter font phrases that are easily cut. So just before I do that, and before I had that idea, I then add a doodly border, but add a couple of sentences, or maybe half sentences, I guess, of journaling around the wreath, and that just sort of adds and draws your eye to the shape of it and sort of just borders it, rather than it being just plain white and then flowing into the blue, and it all kind of just levels it out. So that's fun. 2 lines of journaling and then some edges of bordering, double bordering. So here's where I'm trying to work out which label to use, and because we get so many labels, which is pretty awesome, I do have a little second of working out which one is the right one. The blue one I kept thinking this is right, but there was already so much of that darker blue, which is a really lovely blue, in the top, so I decided to instead get the lighter blue. So I'm just trying to work out, because I'm adding it afterwards, there's that gap between, like, it just doesn't nestle right in underneath the word. I need to leave that paint strip in the middle, but adding the tiny word covers that awkwardness between those 2 items. So that's going to be stuck on, and that's going to finish that cluster up the top, if my memory serves me right. Oh, maybe not, because this is something else that I really love in the printables. Actually, I don't think there's anything I don't like, but these little coloured phrases are a good addition. So on we go. So pretty. Another tiny word. Oh well, okay. I guess you guys could just watch to find out what's happening, because apparently I have no recollection of what I did, even though it was only last night that I recorded it. So just tidying up my workspace, because I have flowers and leaves everywhere and little strips of paper, and that's my layout. So check out the close-ups, and hopefully you have fun creating with your kit and the exclusive printables this month. Bye guys.